Minasan konnichiwa and welcome to Shogo's podcast. Hello guys, how are you doing? So before I go into today's story, I actually have my sister-in-law. She's going to be doing some work. It's really late at night right now. It's really close to midnight, but she is working a lot. I am very proud of her actually. Yuki is actually 5 years younger than Harumi, so she is still in the mid of her 20s actually, but she has a main job and she also has a sub job as well that she does on her leftover time as she is helping us out with taking care of the kids and everything. I have been able to go outside and work at a cafe or a family restaurant recently on my free time to do more video editing, script writing and such, and she was here for 3 weeks to help us out, but it was so helpful. So I don't know if she'll be able to come back again soon, but without her, our working schedule is going to be very different. So we'll try to do what we can while she's not here, but maybe Harumi's mother, their mother, might be coming again, but we'll see how that goes. But anyways, because my sister-in-law is right there, you might be hearing her doing some crafting. Yeah, she has to move around some stuff, but please don't mind that too much, okay? But anyways, guys, today's story is also something that, another lesson, I guess, something that I heard from Seki Sensei, the headmaster of Asayama Ichiden. And I absolutely wanted to share this with you because I think this is something that is related to a lot of stuff in all sorts of art, not just martial arts, but like music and dance and so on and so forth. So what he said, basically, to make a very, very long story short, he said that if you want to, for example, claim that you have, for example, advanced yourselves in a certain set of skills. Let's say Asayama Ichiden. Take, for example, Asayama Ichiden. If you really want to say that Asayama Ichiden is something that you have mastered or something that you really have been taking a lot of time to train in and so on and so forth, he said that it's really important that you know the weaknesses. He said that it's more important than learning not just the strength. What's more important is to learn the weaknesses. So whenever he does the kata in Asayama Ichiden, there's a lot of the kata in Asayama Ichiden, right? There's like more than 300, and also the ones that have been brought down orally. So there's more than probably 400 kata if you include everything. But basically, every time he trained with the predecessor, Seki Sensei, he would always been told that to think about when they do the kata, always try to think about how would this kata be defeated? How would this kata be defeated? You have to understand the weaknesses in order to understand the strengths. So what he said is that we were talking about the comments, that comes in our videos and the other ryuha that comes in attack Seki Sensei, so on and so forth. And we were talking about them, and then it came to this story about understanding your weaknesses. Basically, if you go and criticize someone saying that their skills are not good enough, that's not practical, that's just simply strange or not real, and so on and so forth. The moment you start criticizing other people, your what should I say? The way you're facing as a martial artist is already incorrect, is what Seki Sensei wanted to say. Because you shouldn't be using your time to go and talking about other people's styles and other people's ways of doing it. That's almost like saying, let's say if you were a hip hop dancer and you're saying to a break dancer, or a tap dancer, saying that style of dancing is just not interesting, that's like, okay, don't you have something else that you should be doing by now? Why are you wasting your time like this? If you had time to do that, shouldn't you be improving your own skills? And in order to improve your skills, you need to be talking about your own weaknesses. So you shouldn't be just claiming how wonderful your ryuha style is, or how more practical, or how more fast you can draw, or whatever it is. If you have time to go around and boast about that, if you really truly want to master yourself in some skill sets, especially in the world of martial arts, in the Budo martial arts, you really should always be talking about how your ryuha is weak. Now, I personally believe, listening to Seki Sensei's story, that this is the kind of humbleness that a martial artist, especially a Budo martial artist, must have, I mean, it's just like, what the heck is your point? What are you trying to learn here if you can't, be humble enough to continue to try to advance yourself, brush up your skills, And I just really, really loved this concept. If you have the time to try to, protect yourself, saying if someone criticized you and you go and try to, convince them that that's not right, you should really seriously take in that, and try to see if that criticism is actually true, test it out, if it actually is true or not. If it is, then maybe as the next generation bringing down the skills, maybe there is something you should do about it, especially Seki Sensei has the right to do it if he wanted to. So this is something that he has to continue to do. If you have to continue to do that, isn't your skills a lot more advanced? Because as you train your skills, you've always been thinking about what is the weak point of this kata, for example. And if you've done that for all of the kata you've been training in, I'm very sure how your eyes are, for example, doing the kata, how quickly you do the movement, so on and so forth, would be much more advanced, don't you think? Because if you knew that at this movement, when you do this movement, this part of your body will be vulnerable. If you always constantly try to seek for the weak points of your techniques, you would try to find these places. And then when then you would know eventually that you would think, then I need to move a little bit faster at this point. I need to turn my body a little bit more in order to be safer, for example. So I really believe that it's important that if you want to, for example, start learning in a Ryuha style in martial arts, it could be anything. There's a lot of fighting, criticism going in between Ryuha of a tea ceremony, of dancing, of instruments, or whatever it is in the world of traditional culture in Japan. But I personally would say that you should, it would be the best if you could learn under a sensei who never does that. Yeah, I would leave an instructor who does that. It's embarrassing. It's simply pathetic, to be honest. It's pathetic. It's embarrassing. You shouldn't do it. Obviously, you're an adult. You don't do that anywhere else. You shouldn't obviously do that in the world of traditional culture either. I would at least want to become a sensei. I would at least want to become an instructor who is always trying to look for the weaknesses, the weak points of my skills, and my own skills too, not just the kata that's been brought down, but my own skills, and not talking about someone else and bringing them down. What good is that going to be doing, right? Yeah. So I really thought what Seki Sensei has told me it definitely changed again my point of view, changed my values, and I'm really grateful that he told me this story. Again, please let me know what you thought in the comments. So then everyone, as I always say, the ultimate goal of my life is to make all Japan lovers' dreams come true. So I know there's a lot of people studying Japanese, willing to come to Japan to study, travel, or work, or even train our traditional culture and such. However, I am very afraid that Japan will not be able to make everyone's dreams come true in the future, because we're facing a lot of social problems, we are losing our traditional culture, and the younger generations who are supposed to be carrying on the good things about Japan are dying because of all the social issues being shoved against them. So I really want to dedicate my life trying to make Japan a better place. I'm going to try to solve social problems, preserve and evolve traditional culture, and also help out the younger generations so they can have a brighter future. And to do this, the nearest goals I have right now is to achieve 100,000 subscribers on my new channel, Last Like Seki Sensei, achieve 100 students on our online lessons that we just started, and also have 50 guests come to our summer experience at Yushinkan Kyoto, and all of the other stuff that I'm doing right now are in the description box. I hope you can check them out. So guys, thank you so much for listening. Please have a nice day or good night. Bye bye.